The average day of 6 and 7 figure wholesalers. That's the topic of today's show. This is Todd Toback, and I want to welcome you to the No Limits Real Estate Investing Podcast. Whether you're trying to do that first real estate deal where you're scratching and clawing and trying to make that big fat first paycheck, I could relate. I used to be there, okay? This is your place. Or whether you're trying to build a business that spits off cash month after month after month without your personal day-to-day involvement, this is the place for you. So welcome. If you have not been to our website, I've got a special gift for you. Head on over to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script. And there's a free download. If you want the exact script that we use to talk to motivated sellers in our real estate wholesaling business, the script that I've used to train all of my acquisition specialists, right, who work on our team locking up deals, and the same script that I've used to train thousands of the best real estate investors across the country, then just go to the site, download it, my free gift to you. nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script. So today's episode actually is inspired by a question that I get a lot, and that is, Todd, I wish that I could just follow you around for a day in your office. I want to see what you do day to day. And I can tell you that, I've probably gotten this question over 100 times. And I think that some people think there's like some magic that happens. I've got this magic wand and I'm saying, deals appear, right? And I'm slaying motivated sellers by the thousands and buying, dozens of houses every single day. And I can tell you that this business, by the way, it's a lot of fun and you can make a lot of money, but it's not always how you picture it. And so today, that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm actually going to talk about, the difference of a day between that wholesaler, again, who's scratching and clawing. Maybe you're a solopreneur trying to do that first deal. And by the way, you're welcome here, right? If you are in the game, you are the man in the arena, right? Then this is still your place, right? But I'm going to tell you that there's a difference. There's a difference between the day of the people who make 50, 60, 70, even $100,000 a year in this business and the people who are making those high 6 figures and 7-figure net in their business every single day. And so my goal for you is to do that first deal, right? Is to quit your job, but eventually then have a business that spits off cash month after month after month without you running around like a chicken with your head cut off. And I can tell you that I was just like you, right? I did that first deal and all I wanted was to quit my job. And when I had that first paycheck, man, I was excited, right? And I knew that life would never be the same. But it was not too long later after I quit my job that I realized that I needed to make a change. And I couldn't run around like a crazy person and letting basically the business control my day. I was its slave. So today, I'm going to talk about what separates the 6 and 7-figure wholesalers, right? High 6 figures and 7-figure earners from the people who are just kind of scraping by, right? If you are listening to this and you're like, man, maybe I should just get a job. This episode is for you. So real excited about this. So, again, these two people, they're pretty different, right? And I can tell you that the low 6-figure earners, or even if you're making less than 6 figures, maybe you're doing this part-time and, you don't really know how to run a business, right? That's okay. You are gonna learn. But, right now, if you are in that stage, that baby stage, you're kind of like Johnny on the spot, right? You're setting up marketing, you're, sending out your postcards, or maybe you're pulling your own lists. And you are just going back and forth and back and head turning everywhere. And, the business is controlling you. You're like the wind and you're being blown. Now, I'm excited for you because you actually know the direction that you're going, right? That's really, really exciting. But, the challenge here is that you are never really strategic, right? There's no room to plan, no room to think, how to maximize your deals, no room to attract other team members. And so if you stick in this phase, right, where all of a sudden now the phone call comes in, and you got to run to answer it. And now the title company calls and now they call and your cash buyer wants to meet you at the property. And now you got to close and now you got to run to the title company and you got to pick up your check. Man, I can tell you what, your life will get eaten up, right? And your time will really get away from you, right? You will be a slave to your business. Now, you'll be a high paid slave, right? A high paid slave, but frankly, at this point, you might as well have a job. So what I want to do here now is flip the script, get you more intentional. If you followed me around for a day, what would it look like in my real estate investing business? And so if you want a business that's going to spit off 7 figures for you, I want you to envision the day now, right? It's going to be very strategic. It's going to be purposeful. It's going to be intentional. You are saying no more than you are saying yes. And you are saying yes to very, very few things. So for me, actually, the only thing that I've said yes today to is number one, an errand that I promised to do with my wife and this 2-hour slot where I'm recording these podcasts, and that's it. And so I want you to think about your day and how you strategize. So 7-figure wholesalers, they slow down to speed up. Well, what does that mean? It means that they don't react to the day-to-day minutia, the fires, the emergencies, the demands, the emails, the texts, the Slack messages, any other form of communication that could seem like it's quote unquote urgent, because it's not. It's not. We say no way more than we say yes. Okay. We do have to put out some fires, right? You may have to put out some fires, but I can tell you what, it's a lot less. Some fires we let burn. Some fires actually we previously started, so we stopped setting those fires. And other fires, okay, we just let other people put them out. So if you want specifics, for me, okay, I have a Monday morning meeting from 10:30 to 12, okay? And this is my meeting to end all meetings. I've talked about this before, but basically it's a meeting where we have a set time, 10:30 to 12. It starts on time, okay? It ends on time. If you read the book, The Rockefeller Habits, actually the new name of that is Scaling Up. It talks about all the oars rowing in the same direction, everyone on the same page. And that's that's a great book, by the way, Scaling Up by Vern Harnish. But we've got a meeting every single Monday morning at 10:30 to 12. Everybody's there, all hands on deck, 10:30 to 12. There's an agenda. We start on time and we end on time. And so if people have concerns or issues or opportunities or questions, we talk about them on that meeting in a very structured fashion, right? Everybody lists all their challenges or opportunities or issues, right? And we label them and then we put them in order of priority, right? 1 to 10. In addition to that, we review all the metrics to the company, right? How many leads came in? How much money did we spend on marketing the last week? How many appointments did we go on? What was the revenue the last 4 weeks? How many leads we got from joint venture partner? And how many turnovers, right, did our lead management department, how many turnovers did they send over to our acquisition specialist? By the way, these sections of the meeting, right, they're on a spreadsheet and it's very, 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 very structured. It's only an hour and a half and you may be like, meetings. This whole thing takes 90 minutes, right? We also praise our team and we say, hey, great job. You met our core values here. Great job. I saw you do this, right? And we pump each other up. And again, this is all within this 90-minute power meeting, the meeting to end all meetings. Now, I could tell you we absolutely slay during this 90 minutes because we know, right, that we're not going to be going constantly back and forth with some emergency, right? We know that we've got to come prepared. We have to do our homework. We've got to bring data if we're going to bring something up, right? Really, really, really put that on the team. And then you're going to see your business grows. Now, I've got 2 more meetings during the week. It's a Wednesday sales meeting, right? That also is at 11 o'clock from 11 to 11:15. So short and to the point. Again, we start on time and end on time. And everyone's got their 3 top leads, right? Only their top 3. And they say, okay, here are my top 3. Here's the situation. Here's what's happened in the last call. And here is what's going to happen on the next call. The commitment that I got from the seller. And here's my commitment. And this is what I'm going to do to get this closed. And everybody does that. So our lead managers, they talk about the 3 hottest leads they passed over to the acquisition specialist. The acquisition specialist talk about their 3 hottest deals that they're going to close. And we stay hyper-focused. And then Friday, okay, we do the same the same thing in terms of the meeting. But instead of talking about our hot leads, we actually listen to call recordings and we coach each other up. And so that is, by the way, a huge benefit. If you are not listening to phone calls, and by the way, if you are all your incoming phone calls, your incoming phone calls, right, you should actually let people know that you are recording on those, and you can actually listen to those, right? So that is a phenomenal tool for you, right? And so having the team listen to their calls, man, that's a total game changer. You don't even need a coach. They can actually listen to themselves. Everyone thinks they're better than they are. Sometimes I look back and I watch some of these videos and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have done better here. I could have done better here. I could have done better here. So that's basically my week in my wholesaling business. Now, I've got some other rules for you if you're listening to this, but you might be like, Todd, what about the emergencies, the phone calls? Well, I can tell you that pretty much if you are starting to build out a team, and by the way, I want you to, this episode may not resonate with you because you're like, Todd, I'm not there. So what I promise you is that even if you're a solopreneur, I'm going to give you some action items in this episode, right? That even if you're by yourself right now, that you can use to start to elevate yourself, right? So that you can really start to grow your business, make more money, okay? And really start to enjoy the fruits of your labor here, right? You're going to start to see your profit go through the roof. All right. So people say, oh my gosh, what if people start calling you, Todd? Well, number one is that I don't respond to quote unquote emergency phone calls. Now this takes some discipline. It takes some courage, and it really, it takes a mindset shift, right? That says, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. So what I do is if I've got any emergency phone calls, right? Because if you let your team dictate what's an emergency when you're first starting out, everything is going to be an emergency, right? So I pretty much don't respond to any team phone calls until 4 p.m. my time. Right now, I've got team members in different time zones, but I let pretty much the whole day run, and I'll respond to 4. Now, why 4 p.m.? Well, the great part about running your own business is that you can tailor it to your lifestyle. So the business is your slave, not the other way around, right? So you picking up the phone at any time, just because it rings, you're a slave to your business. Now, I understand if you're the only person, right? And we're gonna get you there, right? I'm not going to, pretend like you don't have to answer the phone if it's just you and you're trying to do your first wholesale deal. Okay, so I'm gonna get you there. But if you have a team and they're answering the phone, you've got to stop returning phone calls 24/7 to your team. All right. So for me, I respond to all phone calls at 4 p.m. Now, here's the great part is that usually if I would say 90 to 95% of the time, if someone calls me at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. and I wait until 4 and I don't respond to them for 5 hours, 90 to 95% of the time, the problem is handled, right? I now have made that team member stronger. Now, a team member, by the way, could be a vendor, could be a title company, it could be a real estate agent. And so now you've trained them to do this business, right? To act on their own, to own the process, to get the outcome that you're trying to get, right? And so you are now strengthening them and empowering them. And so by not answering that phone call, you are giving them the opportunity to rise up and thrive. Okay. Very, very, very important. Okay. Now, and by the way, what I will do before I return that phone call, I'll send a text and I'll say, hey, is everything handled on what you called me about? Right. And I don't even have to make that phone call. So that's really, really important. Okay. Now, what other meetings? By the way, what else do I do? So now that I've got this thing up to a point where, we have those Monday morning meetings, the Wednesdays and the Fridays, I don't talk to sellers. I don't talk to cash buyers. I don't handle the marketing. I don't do any of that. And so my goal for you is to do that. Now that gets done and it is so important, but I've got some great people around me that do this for me, right? And so if you want to grow a business, by the way, this goes for any business, is that if you want to have any kind of semblance of freedom, you can't do it by yourself. Now, again, I'm going to talk about this. You can get a lot done with a couple of team members. And so again, I'm going to give you an action item. By the way, remember you are the master of your business. So let's talk about application. First of all, if you are listening to this, I kind of want you to understand where you're at. So go to nextlevelwholesaling.com, by the way. I've got an assessment there for you. It's going to rate you in the 4 core areas of your wholesaling business. That is marketing, acquisition, disposition, and accounting, right? And that's really how much money you're making. Oh, yeah, that's juicy. So go to nextlevelwholesaling.com and take that assessment. That's also free. It's going to spit out a score, and it's really going to get clear on where you need to strengthen up and shore up your business, or what, new marketing channel you're going to need to add. So go there and download that. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty. There are really only 3 ways to increase your income. Okay, only 3 ways. And I'm going to bring this back to, following back to my day here in a minute. But number 1 is that you can increase your personal productivity, right? You can say no to stuff. You can prioritize. You can schedule your day. You can use the sales system that we talk about this and spend your time with motivated sellers. Or you can really just do bigger deals, right? That is making yourself more effective. 2 is you can make more money through others, right? You can delegate, you can equip, you can expand, which I'm a big fan of all of these, right? Number 2 is huge, by the way. My business today would not be where it is without other people. And so if any of my team members are listening to this, I love you and I appreciate you, and you are so responsible for the success of our company, and I appreciate you. By the way, if you are interested in joining our team, right, we are always looking for acquisition specialists and partnerships and doing deals together. You can email support at nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com. We have partnered with listeners. We have done deals with listeners. So real excited about that. Also is very important. The third one. Sorry about my ADD there. The third one is you can get your money working for you while you sleep, right? So number 1 is you get more productive. 2, you get more productive through delegating through others and expanding. And then 3 is you get your money working for you in your sleep. All right. So number 1 is if it's just you need to start eliminating, right? You need to stop driving to the title company every time you need to pick up a check, right? You got to stop running to a property every time you've got to show it, right? You want to get more effective by doing group showings or partnering with a realtor, right? You got to learn how to get better on the phone and not spend time with unmotivated sellers, right? The title company, if they're calling you, 6, 7 times, right? Maybe you don't respond to that till 4 p.m. and tell them they need to get the deal closed. Right. So after you do that, after you get smarter and eliminate all the, stupid social media time, and you've kind of really nailed down your time, now it's time to start to expand. So I would hire, right, either a virtual assistant for my first hire. If you want to learn how to do that, you can go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/VA. Great company in the Philippines, or basically it's Connector, where you can basically hire great talent for super reasonable overseas. You could also hire local. That's fine too. Or it may be a lead manager, right? Someone who's handling the phone calls for you and then spitting them over to you, people who want to sell. And I've actually talked about a great episode on how to get to $1 million per year with 1 team member, right? Actually, that is the lead manager. So maybe you want to go back and listen to that episode. But this is a way where you can get a lot of your time back. And now, okay, you're doing the most critical activities. Delegate where you can. Now, you may be listening to this and saying, how can I get to where you're at? Well, it is 1 step at a time. It's not overnight, right? It's day after day, week after week, and quarter after quarter. But I can tell you what, after 6 months, you could see a life-changing transformation. You just got to be committed to it. All right, my last point here is you want to be strategic, all right? You have to slow down. It's okay to take some time and decide that you are going to have this business serve you. First thing I would do, by the way, after listening to this episode, is I would download the assessment at Next Level Wholesaling, take a look at it. And if your business is owning you, if this episode spoke to you and you say, Todd, I want my business to run like yours, right? Then take that, okay? And you can download the assessment and learn where you're at and say no to almost everything except for the most important thing. When you're first getting started out, talking to motivated sellers is the most important thing, right? If you are hiring a lead manager and they're bringing deals over to you, you need to still close deals. But the second most important thing is training them, right? If you're hiring a virtual assistant, make sure you're closing deals, right? But make sure your marketing is going out, and then say no to almost everything. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I do appreciate the reviews that you leave on iTunes, or you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify. Really, really appreciate that. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Leave a comment online, download the assessment, and I will talk to you on the next episode. Talk to you soon.